Zack Semke, director of Passive House Accelerator and co-host of the Passive House podcast with Matthew Cutler-Welsh. I'd like to thank you for joining us for this special bonus episode of the Passive House podcast, recorded as part of the 25th International Passive House Conference, which occurred online in September 2021. Before we get started with this episode's interview, I'd like to thank the Passive House Institute and the International Passive House Association for collaborating with us to arrange these interviews. Also, a big thank you to our sponsors who make the podcast possible. Our founding sponsors are 475 High Performance Building Supply, Baxt Ingwe Architects, Glavel Foam Glass Gravel, Minutair All-in-One HVAC and Dehumidification Units, Mitsubishi Electric Train HVAC US, Partel, RDH Building Science, Rockwell North America, Stillcorp, and Zola Windows. Our champion sponsors are Icon Windows and Doors and SIGA. And our stakeholder partner is NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. With that, please enjoy my interview with Rainer Pfluger, professor at University of Innsbruck and a key player with the OutPHit initiative. Well, welcome everyone. I'm here with Rainer Pfluger, and I'm really excited to be meeting Rainer and learning about his work. Rainer, thank you for being part of this. Welcome to this special episode of the Passive House podcast. And we're recording these episodes as part of the International Passive House Conference. So it's great to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah, very warm welcome from my side, from Innsbruck, Austria, and thank you for the talk.
Yeah, fantastic. So could you start by introducing yourself to the listeners and to your work, about your work in Passive House?
Yeah, so I'm working for Passive House Institute for 10 years, and then afterwards, now I'm in Innsbruck at University of Innsbruck at the Energy Efficiency Department. And so we do research and teaching of energy efficient building, new buildings and refurbishing of buildings. So I think it's important to have it in research, but also to widespread the knowledge throughout the students and interested people. So I love the work there in Innsbruck University, and we have a nice group here bringing forward the Passive House ideas and do a lot of interesting projects. One of it is this OutPHit project we would talk about today, I think.
Yeah, excellent. And so today was the first day of the conference, and I think a lot of us had hoped that we would be physically present in Wuppertal. We're not. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. So with the COVID pandemic. So, but I know that a lot happened today. So how has the conference been for you so far?
Yeah, so I just had time to listen to some of them, not all. I was really busy in the meantime also. But I've seen really nice new projects, and there is, I think, a lot of new concepts which come up. Not only for new buildings, but what I'm rather interested in is the refurbishing. So I think the Passive House technology in new buildings is rather good established now. Mm-hmm. Well, there are the costs going down. There are better quality issues and things like that. That's evolving, but more or less it's settled. It's in a good shape. And what's still under progress is the refurbishing. That's the goal for the future, I think, to come forward with these issues in the next 5 and 10 years.
And you're doing really exciting work around OutPHit and presented about that at the conference today. So let's dive into that and share what OutPHit is, please, and what some of the key messages and takeaways that you shared with folks earlier today.
Yeah, the OutPHit project is guided by the Passive House Institute and several partners throughout Europe. And the goal is to bring forward the ideas of serial renovation and one-stop shop and high quality. So when I speak about high quality, I mean EnerPHit standard. So don't lose quality by speed. That's one of the messages. We need both in refurbishing to speed up in future, to make it faster and cheaper, but not lose the quality. And that's a really sophisticated task to bring all these together. And well, one good way to do so is the so-called one-stop shop. I'm really convinced that this is a good way to do so, because if you imagine you are a building owner and you want to refurbish your building, then you have to think about a lot of different issues, and you have to combine different offers and technologies. That's too much for most of the building owners, though. They want to have a ready-made product for well-defined amount of cost and well-defined time period for the construction work on site. Yeah, and all these three things I told you now is not reality up to now. Though, if you buy one thing from one offer and the other from the other, you have to spend a lot of time in coordination and time scheduling, and yeah, that's not what people want to have. They want to have it ready-made, plug and play, things like that. So to have one offer from one stop shop, that's a good starting point. And then the prefabrication could be another key issue to come down with the costs on one hand, and to have a really well-controlled quality, because the quality assurance is in the factory and not on site. Yeah? It's really difficult. You can do it also on site. It's done in many good examples, but it's more difficult and not so secure as you can do it in a factory. So prefabrication is a good issue. And yeah, and if you speed up, if you do it in a serial way, in an industrial way, you don't lose so much time. In total, you have more or less the same time, but the time on site is shorter because the mounting doesn't take a lot of time. You have to plan it very precise. You have to construct it in a good quality in the factory, and then you bring it to the building site. And then the work on the site, that's really short. And that's good for the building owner.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, a lot of listeners will be familiar with EnerGiesprong from Belgium. And I gather that one of the key ways that OutPHit is different from EnerGiesprong is that it's tied to the EnerPHit standard. Are there other ways that what are the other ways that the OutPHit approach is maybe distinct from EnerPHit?
Yeah, so if you think about EnerGiesprong, it's mostly on large panels. So prefabricated large panels brought to the building site. That's good, that works, and that's low cost and fast. But from my opinion, that's not all about serial renovation. There are more things you can do so, especially if you come to more difficult buildings. So in the Netherlands, where this EnerGiesprong is widespread, is the type of buildings are rather simple compared to old buildings in Austria, Germany, right, Spain, or whatever, in France.
Or North America. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's they're more sophisticated. And the question is if these large panels are always the right solution. You can adapt it to the type of the building. Maybe smaller elements might be more handy, more useful. Or even you could skip the idea of panels completely. You also can prefab part of the elements. For example, the mounting of the window or the ductwork guided on the facade, or roofings, or you can mix these technologies in order to adapt it to the size and construction of the building, which are not all the same. They are not standardized. But still there is a way for prefabrication. And as the word OutPHit says, the trick and idea behind it is to do as much as possible from the outside. So the tenants, the inhabitants in the building shouldn't be disturbed so much. So all the construction work, which can be done from outside, is good. So they don't bother about the people living inside. And so we investigate several technologies you can apply from outside. For example, ventilation ducts at the external surface, so buried in the insulation. That's useful to have it from the outside, or even heating from the outside. That looks funny for the first time if you put heating ducts at the outside of the existing wall, but then afterwards they are covered by insulation, and most of the heat is penetrating through the wall and heating like a wall heating.
Interesting.
That's a way to do so, especially if you need low supply temperatures,
right?
For example, for heat pumps. That's important to have low supply temperatures. And well, you can do floor heating or wall heating, but in refurbishing, it's not so easy because people are living there. They don't want to have the floor broken up and construction work in their dwellings. But if you heat through the wall, then it could be a good trick to do so. And this is presented in my conference proceedings. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's fascinating. So what are the toughest challenges right now? I imagine that there are probably many challenges and also many opportunities. So what are some of the key hurdles you're dealing with right now?
Yeah, so I think the first issue is the cost. So if you just compare the costs of attics of external insulation systems in a standard way, so polystyrene boards and plaster, or you compare it to a prefabricated wall, for the first few, you would say prefab is more expensive. Yeah? That's all what people think about, and they say, "But I don't bother about it. It's not a good solution because it's too expensive." So, and indeed, up to now, these prefab solutions are not so common. So the attics system are widespread all over. The prices are low. Well, at the moment not. We have a kind of crisis in insulation, but yeah, normally these attics systems are low price compared to these really innovative systems. One reason for this is that they are not so widespread. So if it's a standard procedure in future, prices will come down. So up to now, these systems are only presented or demonstrated or mostly demonstrated in school buildings, where they have a really big advantage. They can be set up really fast in the vacancies of the school. So within some weeks, they can be put to the wall. There we have really good examples, and but for dwelling units, which is the focus of the OutPHit project, we don't have so much of these examples. And the project is all about this, to demonstrate that it could be a good solution in future.
Yeah, and where do you see this work heading in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? What's on the horizon?
I think it goes hand by hand with also new planning technologies. So if you think about building information modeling, you can go from the planning task to the manufacturing in the factory, and then also to the mounting on the site. All really good planned in building information modeling, and also the digital measurement of the building itself is evolving. You have these laser scanning techniques, which are really precise now to scan the facade and the 3D of the facade in order to have a good model of the 3D geometry of the building, in order to prefab the panels in the right size and shape. And yeah, that's an evolving technology, which is faster and faster now and cheaper. It also can be done by photo, how do you call it, measuring by photos and construct a 3D geometry out of it, or by laser. That was possible. Photogrammetry is a way to do so. And bringing all these digital technologies together and evolving production technologies, it will be a fast process in future. Up to now, there are not so many companies doing it. Yeah, but I think in future that will rise in number and quality. Mm-hmm.
Right, and as people are able to harness these technologies more and more efficiently, and we see the benefits of economies of scale as more of this work happens, the cost is bound to come down significantly, I would think.
Yeah. Construction of ventilation systems inside the modules, or heating heat sources in the modules, that can help to come down with the total costs. Well, the costs of the module itself will rise because there's more value in,
sure,
more prefab.
Sure.
But in total, it's cheaper for the building or in the renovation work. Yeah?
Right. So for folks who want to learn more about OutPHit, where should they go to dive deeper into this information?
Yeah, you're welcome to have a look on our website. It's already set up, and it's still growing. It's we started in September last year, so it's still growing, and there are a lot of events coming up where you can join or download information. So feel free to visit the website. And contact us, contact PHI or me, no problem. And so we can come together and discuss more about the chances and problems and challenges on serial renovation. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll share some resources, some links in the show notes as well. Yes. Check those out. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close? This has been really fantastic to connect with you today.
Yeah, I would invite you to bring up new projects on refurbishing. Especially, I want to encourage the architects to see this refurbishing work as a really intensive task for the future, and interesting task, which is more interesting, for my opinion, than new buildings. We don't need so much new buildings. New buildings are new additional energy which is consumed. We need refurbishing and better intensify the use of the existing buildings and bring down the level of energy consumption there. Otherwise, we wouldn't solve our problems with climate change. I think a key issue is refurbishing. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you so much, Rainer. We appreciate it. And good luck with the next steps in your work.
Thank you. And welcome. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.